Shalom, shalom, family. How's the audio? How the audio? Can y'all hear me? Let me get a 1 in the chat if you can hear me, a 2 if I sound like a robot. Trying to make sure we get this audio good, crisp, and clear for this edification today. All praises loud and clear. Well, first and foremost, I want to give Call Halal Abanal Yahweh Bahashem Hamashiach Malak Yahweh Shai. This is the brother officer Matathia Bamba Yumyun of the SICARRI Dallas Sect. Coming at y'all with another live class today. We gonna keep it simple, like the title suggests. Remember the basics, right? So for those of us that have been in this truth for, a good couple of years, some of us 10 years, some of us 4, me, myself, I'm about 4.5, almost 5, right? There may come some times where, we may be struggling a little bit, you know, breakdowns aren't as easy. We learn a lot of breakdowns, right? Different perspectives, different teaching styles and stuff like that. But when times get, difficult and whatnot, there's something that I've always done as a kid, and it's something that I still do as an adult. You got to remember, and sometimes you got to get back to the basics. You got to start from ground zero sometimes, right? Sometimes there's a lot of people that get so far advanced, they come across something, and with all their advanced skills and whatnot, they don't know how to adjust and adapt to a situation. But if you remember the basics, you never gonna be in that situation. You're gonna be ready because you used to have those basics drilled into you. You keep them refreshed into your mind, right? So let's go ahead and jump right into this, man. One sec. There we go. This is where we're gonna start at the last book, right? All praise. The water for the super chat. Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Bahashem, Hamashiach Malak, Yahweh Shai, Andrew, Car. Oh my God, I'm butchering your last name, Andrew. Salakia, man. my Spanish ain't all that great, right? But the water for the super chat, King. Right. Also, make sure y'all plug in, of course, all of our YouTube channels. Hit us up on TikTok, Instagram. We're also on Spotify, right? Make sure to check out those outlets for more edification. All right, but let's get into it. This is the book of Revelations, chapter 1 and verse 3. Blessed is he that readeth. Point blank and simple. Nobody has any knowledge of this truth or gains any knowledge or puts out breakdowns unless they read, right? And of course, you got to read, from the right material. But the point of it is, you can't be slackful in this. You got to read, man. Me growing up, I used to hate reading, mainly because of how they forced us to read, topics and genres that I had no interest in reading. Right. So some of us, I know there's some of us out in the world that struggle with that simply because it's a task. But hey, blessed is he that readeth. You got to read, man. Right. And they that hear the words of this prophecy and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand. And guess what? The time is most certainly at hand. The time is nigh than when we once believed, right? So you're gonna be blessed when you actually reading. But anybody can just read something. Is when you apply it in your everyday life is what matters, right? And that's what you're supposed to do. Blessed is the man that doeth the law. Be doers of the law and not hearers only, right? And this is Salah. Let me let this load. There we go. And this is one of my favorite scriptures. I remember there was a brother, a powerful brother, a powerful Gadite by the name of Isaiah. He, when I was first coming into the truth, and I was just a soldier in SICARRI, I was just fresh in the truth. I'm still learning, and he hit me with this Hebrews 5 and 12. For when Salak, for Oh my God, I cannot read today. For when for the time ye ought to be teachers, ye have need that one teach you again, which be the first principles of the oracles of God, and are become such as have need of milk and not of strong meat. Again, there's a lot of us that are teachers out here, but there's always just because you're teaching now doesn't mean that you should not be a student. The best teacher is still a student because you're still able to adapt and accept in new information and also scrutinize it, right? That's right. Eat the whole road, Aquad. That's absolutely right, King. You got to be able to be taught, even if you're a teacher. Because guess what? That's strong milk. I'm sorry. Actually, no. The milk is strong. The milk is most certainly strong. What is that? That's that's the basics, man. That's them laws, them statutes, them commandments, them judgments, man. That's that milk. You got to be able to drink your milk first before you attempt to go after strong meat. You can't you can't just go straight to a steak and skip the milk, man. You can't do that. You gonna choke. You gonna cause problems for yourself. Get yourself into mischief. Prove yourself to be wrong because you don't know what you're doing. You got to start with the milk first, right? Verse 13. For everyone that useth milk is for everyone that useth milk is unskillful in the word of righteousness, for he's a babe. Hey, we got to come back as babes, right? When we first learned this truth, we were coming back as babes. So we are to take in that milk. Verse 14. But strong meat belongeth to them that are of full age, even those who by reason of use have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil. And in short, there's levels to this, man. There's levels to this truth, man. It truly is. And guess what? There is nothing wrong with going back to the milk if you feel you're not ready for the steak. It's as simple as that. Again, sometimes those of us that have been in this thing for a while, sometimes we forget some things, right? There's nothing wrong with going back and having yourself a glass of milk. Nothing wrong with it at all. It's nourishing, right? It revitalizes you, right? And again, that's part of getting back to what? Getting back to the basics. Because you got to understand something. These ugly heathenistic religions in their idols, they don't got no milk. But yet they try to take our book and do what? They try to say that they can chew the steak, right? They try to say they can have that tenderloin, that ribeye. They no. That's why they out here getting cut the way they do. That's why they're being shown out to be liars, right? Because they are so unskillful, they never even attempted to use the milk, man. But guess what? Those that use milk eventually will level up and be able to go after that steak and ribeye and really get into this word. This is book of Isaiah chapter 8 and verse 20. To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it's because there is no light in them. These are all facts, especially against the Christian church. They are completely devoid of the law. They're antinomianists. They teach against the law, right? And they don't have no testimonies. And what are we talking about? We're talking about prophecy. They have no prophetic breakdown. They don't know what's going on today in this world. They don't even know what's going on in the Old Testament, right? They don't utilize the law or the testimony. So there is no light within that strange doctrine called the Christian church. There's no light in there. It's nothing but what? But darkness, right? Hey, that's right. That's right, Malak Yahusha. Different parts in the body as well. We don't have all the same gifts. That's an absolute fact. Not everyone is gonna be able, to have the same strengths, right? There's a brother within SICARRI that I know of, the powerful officer over in Philly, Officer Ariella, powerful Judite, one of the best linguists that I've ever seen. I don't got that gift. He most certainly has that gift. powerful linguists, right? You got certain brothers that have certain skill sets. You got some brothers that's skillful in archaeology, history, genealogy, prophetic breakdowns, precepts, right? You know, you of course you got, you know, those who are extremely strong in the law. You got those that you even the powerful officer at 10,000, Yajadiah, aka Big Yachty. He's one of the he's one of the few people I've seen that is so skillful in the New Testament. It's ridiculous. Like it's absolutely ridiculous. So we don't all have the same strengths. Some of us got to stick to the milk. Some of us can drink the milk and take part in the strong meat. Some of us, you know, have advanced so far past the milk that they don't necessarily need it. But there's nothing wrong with going back to the basics and making sure that you still remember what you thought you first learned. You got to come back to the basics. It's as simple as that. It's what's the phrase? It's a refresher course, right? Because look, we got some dark days ahead, man. You see, uh, Vladimir and his boys, you know, shooting arrows. We should all know what an arrow is. We should all know in this chat what an arrow is, right? But he's got, you know, there was a unconfirmed and a confirmed sighting, you know, in world news, and then of course the unconfirmed over here in the oppressive place called America, of him shooting arrows over to what was it, Poland? I think it was either Poland. I forget the actual thing. It was either it went over Poland or it was going into Ukraine. I cannot remember. But we seen things starting to really ramp up over on that side of the world. And things are starting to significantly ramp up over here in America, right? You got all types of things ramping up. So we got dark days ahead. So what do we need? We don't need things that are devoid of the law and testimonies. There's no light in those things. We need light in this dark world. And what kind of light do we need in this place? We need the milk. Because that milk is going to keep you right when these classes are not going to be able to be online like they used to. There's gonna come a time you can't go to YouTube. There's gonna come a time where you're not gonna see us on the street corners no more. There's gonna be a time where you wonder what happened. So you're gonna have to make sure that you're doing your due diligence, drinking your daily portions of milk, right? And making sure that you're ready to keep yourself aright in the days to come. That way you can have your milk paired up with the strong meat. You feel me? It's the book of Psalms, chapter 19 and verse 7. The law of Yahweh is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of Yahweh is sure, making wise the simple. The milk is perfect. The law of Yahweh is perfect. There's no like people that you got your Christians and you even have your Israelite Christians, your blacks that really try to downplay the law, statutes, and commandments as if it was a terrible idea, it was wrong or something like that. Here's the thing though, those things were not for everyone on the earth. They were only for Israel, and they were given to Israel by the Most High by way of Moses. So you mean to tell me that something that came from the Most High was imperfect, was wrong? Are you trying to say that the Most High is imperfect and wrong? Because that's really what these Christians are saying when they do this. But we as Israelites ought to know that the law of Yahweh is perfect, and it's what converted us to come back home. It's really what it is. We had a wake up call, and you know what? The first things that we were all told: keep the law. That was one of the first things that I learned outside of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are Israelites. But one of the first things that I heard right after that is we got to keep the law. And you know what? It definitely converts the soul because it tells you, it teaches you to what? To be better, to do better, to serve the Most High in a way that you've never done in your life. That for many generations, our people just were not doing because we were choosing what? Death, which is without the law, whereas life is with the law. What in the halibut? Get this out of here. There we go. Goodness gracious. These spammers in here, man. These spammers in here. Right? But moving forward, because again, the law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul, right? But here's the thing: a lot of times when we go out and we try to tell our people these things, yeah, I ain't gonna lie, it's a little bewildering. It is. I can't tell you how many times our own people just walk by. The most common response is a thumbs up, the black power fist, and what's another one? Oh, the number one finger just pointed up, just like what does that mean? Our people just don't. Our people want to lie and say they love God, but we know that they don't because their actions show differently, right? But there's a reason for that, and this is what it is. This is the book of John, chapter 3, and I'm gonna start at verse 19. And this is the condemnation that light is come into the world, and men love darkness rather than light because their deeds were evil. For everyone that doeth evil hateth the light, neither cometh to the light, lest his deeds should be reproved. And that's exactly what it is. Our people don't want to be corrected for nothing, right? But that light, of course, is talking about Yahushua. Yahushua is what? The word made manifest. Huh? And so when people say, "Oh, I love Jesus," you keep the law, statutes, commandments? No, you don't love Christ. Christ kept them commandments. We're supposed to walk after him. He kept the commandments, so we should keep the commandments. Because that's how we showed that we what? That we love the Most High and that we love our brothers and sisters, right? But our people don't want to hear that because men love darkness rather than light. They want to stay in the dark and keep doing evil. But no, we're going to keep shining this light, man. And guess what? That light comes from us doing what? Keeping the basics, going back to the basics, keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, and having a faith. And I've heard some Christians say, "Well, you guys always say it's just the law, it's the law, there's no faith." Well, hold on, we're commanded to have faith. There's literally prophecies about Hamashiach in the law, and we have to have faith that he's going to come. If we're not keeping the law, and the which those prophets, if we're not keeping the law, then of course, we're going to be put under them curses. And also that means that we don't have the faith of Hamashiach as it is written, at least to some degree, right? But we them people. And guess what? We keep the law and we have faith in Hamashiach. And that's part of the milk, that's part of the basics, man. Let's get some more in it. Let's get some more light in here, all right? We back at it like a crackhead in the deacon voice. That's right. That's right. That's right, dark child. That's right. Oh man. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 6 and verse 23. For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light, and reproofs of instruction are the way of life. If you can't take rebuke and correction, then what you doing this for, man? It's not just because we start keeping the law, statutes, and commandments doesn't mean that we're completely devoid of correction. We gotta be corrected. We could be doing something completely wrong. Most certainly, we could be doing something completely wrong. So if we can't take correction, which is love, then what are we in here for? We got corrected and told that we was Israelites and not niggas, Hispanics, and natives. We got told to keep the law. We can get corrected on that. But when we start to get into the details of the basics, some of our people have an issue with that because they don't want to be reproved. They don't want to be corrected. But it's okay though. Let me read that again. For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light, and reproofs of instruction are the way of life. Verse 24. To keep thee from the evil woman, from the flattery of the tongue of the strange woman. Now, here's the thing. You're going to have somebody, and I repeat, you are going to have somebody that will read that and say, so who's the evil woman? And they're going to try and apply that to a physical woman. Guess what? Wisdom is likened unto a woman. And how do we obtain wisdom? By keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. That's how we attain that woman called wisdom. So if we're not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, who comes after that? The evil woman, the strange woman, i.e., idolatry, right? Following false religions, following false philosophies and things like that. Strange woman, an evil woman, things that will keep you away from the Most High, right? So you got to understand that and take care not to go after that evil woman. And what's going to keep you from that? That beautiful lamp that is the commandment and that law that's a light. Verse 25, lust not after her beauty in thine heart, neither let her take thee with her eyelids. In short, just because it sound good don't mean that it's good for you. Example, you got music artists out there who are taking part in getting deals and things like that. Not even just music artists, just celebrities or entertainers in general that are so quick to chase after that bag. What are you willing to do for that bag? I got it. How about you snitch on all your homies for the bag? You perpetuate murdering your own people for the bag, right? Or what else? What else? What else? Ooh, in a press conference, say this against your brother so that way we look good and I put you a little something on the side for you. Just because it sound good, don't mean that it's good for you. Lust not after her beauty in thine heart. Just because it sound good and you think it sound good, don't mean that it is. Right? Neither let her take thee with her eyelids. You know how women get to batting their eyes at you and whatnot. Man, we know what that is. We know when a girl be staring at you and whatnot. You know, it's a Sunday. It's a not a Sunday. It's a Saturday afternoon in the evening and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? She look you up and down. She do them thing with the little fake eyelashes and whatnot. You know, she look good. She look good. You know, and then a couple years later, you realize she a whole demon, right? And it's the same thing on the woman's side. You got men that's like that, not to that degree, but they put up a front on one end, and then you find out later that you made a very terrible decision. That's why you're not to just go after those things just because it sounds appealing or looks appealing. You got to test it. If it don't coincide with the law, statutes, and commandments, then no, it's not happening. And I'm not saying that to say that of our people we can't teach them. There are those who are susceptible to being open and being taught, sure. But you gotta weigh that out and see who it is that you're really dealing with before you seal the deal. Can you feel me? Am I talking good? Am I talking good? Shalom to SICARRI, San Francisco, man. Shout out to them brothers. They in a whole demonized war zone, pushing that word out faithfully and with power. All right. If you in the San Francisco area, you go see them brothers, man. Because they got nothing but power over there. All right. But verse 26. For by means of a whorish woman, a man is brought to a piece of bread, and the adulteress will hunt for the precious life. When we step away from these laws, statutes, and commandments, we choose. We choosing death. We choosing to forsake wisdom, who should be our first love, and go after the strange woman, that evil woman, the things that we shouldn't be going after, right? And what I mean by that, you got some brothers and sisters who were in the truth and left it to go back to Christianity. You even have some. I'm not going to say who. I'm not going to say who. But you got certain groups of people who say that they are Israelites, who have taught for essentially the same thing, but started regressing and is now essentially looking like a Christian church on the block with fringes, right? It sounds to me like they're going after strange woman. It be like that, and it's sad. But we got to stick with the woman who is there when we had the commandment as a lamp and the law was our light. That's what we got to stick with. Because if we don't, we're going to be brought down to a lower state, brought to a piece of bread. That's a lower state if only you got is just a piece of bread, man. Right? And then after that, that's, hey man, look, your life is in a very horrible predicament at which point. Because you done, not only did you forsake, you know, the striving to go after, you know, that steak and that ribeye, that strong meat, but you done went ahead and spilled your milk and never filled you up another glass, right? Can't do that. And even if you find yourself tempted, I repeat, tempted to regress, go back to the basics. Go back to the law, because that law is what's going to keep you right. Just like example, perfect example, right? And again, if y'all been in my classes the past few times, y'all know how I like to do things. I got a question for you, chat. Why do we wear fringes? Let's see who get it first. Let's see. That's right, yo, Tom. To remind us of the law. That's right, y'all. Stop. 316 commanded to. Yeah, we are commanded to. That's right. It's to remind us to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, right? Because we can be put in a predicament, a tight spot. Like for example, say if you would, you know, you went to go visit some family, right? You know, for whatever reason you out visiting family, you know, you go to the family house or whatnot. It's either Christmas, Thanksgiving, somebody birthday, some some what's the word I'm looking for? Some paganistic holiday, whatever it is going on, and someone, you know, that try to get you to celebrate, get you to partake in the food and festivities and whatnot. You in a tight spot because you don't want to, you know, disrespect your family and whatnot. I mean, hey, you could have went there. There could be food there. You ain't eat all day because you ain't know what was going on, and now you just got food in front of you and whatnot. But now you in a predicament. Do you take part in a heathenistic custom, or do you stay strong and keep them commandments? Well, at first glance, like, well, I could, you know what I'm saying? And then we look down, and what do we see? We see fringes, we see zeets, and they remind us to keep the law, to take part in that milk, to drink the milk, to internalize it, to remind us that we can't do that. I got commandments to keep, my boy. Sorry, grand. I can't have your delicious oven baked mac and cheese with a side of yams, right? I don't care that you put turkey bacon in them collard greens. I'm not celebrating Thanksgiving. I can't do it, grand. I'm sorry. Hey man, look, it's all good in the hood because guess what? We know that that commandment is a lamp and that law is our light. So in that dark situation, we was able to light. We was able to bring forth some light in that situation where we could have walked into darkness again. That makes sense. So again, there are times where you really just gotta get back. I'm rocking. Hey, there you go. I'm rocking meet you in my fringes. That's right, man. This man said I'm going to the family function in full government, man. I might step outside on the sidewalk and start teaching you. I say, hey, one thing I will say is this: be careful, you know, who you do it to, because don't get me wrong, I love telling my people the truth. And you can do it. Grandma, mom, and dad can still get a belt and a switch, especially grandma and moms. I've been told you ain't too old to get your A whoop, but that's certainly true. Okay. I still get a chancla thrown at me to this day. But moving forward. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 6 and 16. Thus saith Yahweh, stand ye in the ways and see. So look around, see where you at, and ask for the old paths. Where is the good way, and walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls. And that's what we ought to do, right? Because when we first heard about the truth, however we heard about it, and we actually began to start setting forth on our walks, what were we doing? We were standing, looking around, trying to figure out which direction to go. And then we were asking for the old pass. Well, how do I keep the Sabbath? Where do I get fringes? What's when are the high holy days? Is there a calendar that we follow? That's when you start asking your questions. What are you doing? You're seeking after the old past. You're asking for the old past. You're asking, what is the good way? How do I make sure that my walk is solid? What's my foundation? Right? These are things that we do at the start of our walk. And we got to remind ourselves of that, man. And not only that, for those of us that's knowing this truth, man. I've seen plenty of times where, there are those of us that are knowing this walk, and they find it hard because they're already being, held to an extremely high standard as if they've been in this thing for, a good couple years. Or even when, going out on the highways and trying to reel our people in and teach them things and whatnot. And of course, they just blow us off of things like that. I'm guilty of it myself, you know, getting upset at my people. I mean, you see it enough, you get upset. It's just like, really, Israel? What's going on with y'all, man? But we have to remind ourselves that we were once just like them. There was a point in time where we would walk past the men of the Lord. There was a point in time where we would not even entertain, our own people on YouTube. There was a point in time where we wouldn't even hear our own people out. We were once just like them, starting starting from ground zero. And for those of us that's out the truth, -6. Okay. Right. But we gotta understand that they're in the same predicament that we were once in. So we have to be able to go back to the basics to understand where our people are at, so that way they can begin at the basics, right? It's a lot. Jeremiah 6:16 again. Thus saith Yahweh, stand ye in the ways and see, and ask for the old paths, where is the good way, and walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls. But they said, we will not walk therein, which majority of our people do, right? That's why we were in this predicament now. Our people don't want to walk in those ways, right? Verse 17. Also, I set watchmen over you, saying, hearken to the sound of the trumpet. But they said, we will not hearken. Our people don't want to listen. We telling our people, hey, this place is going to be destroyed with thermonuclear destruction. Salvation is only for the Israelites. You're an Israelite. You have the potential for salvation. You got to come back, keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. Time is running out, but our people don't want to listen. They still out and about as if nothing is wrong. But they're just victims of the captivity that they in. And of course, ultimately, the Most High didn't give them ears to hear, and eyes to see, whether it be just yet or at all. We still got to try and cast some seeds, though. Verse 18. Therefore, hear ye nations, and know, O congregation, what is among them. Hear, O earth, behold, I will bring evil upon this people, even the fruit of their thoughts, because they have not hearkened unto my words, nor to my law, but rejected it. Is that not what happened? Is that not what goes on right now? Hey, the quad, you're not wrong. We got to make our forehead as hard as their forehead. I feel you on that. I most certainly do. I'm not saying to back down from it. If things, get that far, then it get that far, right? But we still got to be able to. We got to be able to take it to that level, but also be able to bring it down for edification. Because ultimately, we going up on that level to break down a very thick wall that's been built in front of them. We got to be able to break that wall. And so when the wall come low, we got to start rebuilding them from the ground up. Give them a foundation. Bring them back to the basics. But we ourselves ought to make sure that we remember the basics as well. Watch this. And look, this is what happens with our people, right? Because when we come out with the truth, what happened? We hated for it. Look at what happened with Ye and Kyrie, man. Just those two individuals, and I think now there's something going on with Dave Chappelle too. Like, you mean to tell me that we start to stand up for each other, and those same people who stand together are demonized? Come on now. And even our own people, like, I can't tell you how many conversations I heard from our own people talking bad about the situation like they really know what's going on. 9 times out of 10, they didn't watch any interviews. They didn't watch the source material or none of that. They're only going by what, you know, the powers that be put out there and propagate, right? But because of that, we the enemy. But it's cool though. It's cool though, right? Galatians 4 and 16. Am I therefore become your enemy because I tell you the truth? Is am I? Are we? To them, yes. To our own people, the ones that full on reject it and coincide with the enemy and hate us, it's because we tell them the truth. They don't like it. Because again, what do we read in John 3 and 19? You know, they are the people who don't want to hear this word, man. They just want to wallow in their darkness. They don't want that light, man. They don't want to be told the truth. They want to stick to their darkness and their lies and deceit because it's easier for them. They don't have to work as hard. They just have to exist and get by because it's easier. Hey, man, look, if the kingdom was easy to get to, I wouldn't want it. I mean, granted, it technically it is easy to get to. It truly is as far as putting in the work. That's not hard to do. Our people see it as difficult, but it's not hard to keep these laws, statutes, commandments, and have the faith. That's not hard. Our people just make it difficult or more difficult than it seems, right? And of course, as time goes on, you know what I'm saying. What did Deacon say? Hold on, I'm trying to remember the bar. I'm trying to remember the bar. He said it was I can't pretty much where the bar where he says and it was when it was in my stomach, it was sour. He was talking about essentially eating the whole scroll. I think he was quoting Ezekiel. I can't remember the full bar. Salakia, Deke, if you hear this. I couldn't remember the full bar. My bad. Salak. Okay. I didn't want to misconstrue the powerful bars, but either way, once we've been in this truth, for a good minute, we can see, the sourness of it, you know, and what our people are going through and how they treat us when we just try to tell them to come back home. Like that's the sour part. When we first hear about it, it's as sweet as honey. It's great. It's like, what? I'm an Israelite, and all these lies and deceits are dispelled. It's great at first, and after a while, it's just like it's still great. It's just like, man, why my people gotta act like this? Like, why my people gotta act like this, man? They treat us like we are their enemy because we simply tell them the truth. Now let's see what that truth is. Let's matter of fact, again, question for the chat. Somebody give me a precept on what the truth is. I want to see who can guess what I'm finna go to. I want to see who be studying like that. I'm trying to see this, man. Uh, we googling. I feel like there's some fingers googling right now, man. There we go. There we go. All praises. There we go. Psalms 119 and 142. All praises. Boom. The book of Psalms, chapter 119 and verse 142. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. And our people think us enemies of being that, right? Now, here's the thing. If someone were to just snippet this and say, see, they just think that the law is the truth and they're trying to precept that with Galatians, but that don't make no sense. They're telling people they're Israelites, they're under curse. Well, here's the thing though. The first thing that we go to is the curses. Typically, we go to the curses to show that the people who are under these curses are the Israelites. And where are those curses at in the law? You see that? We're telling our people, even if we go to a prophecy, right? Talking about how, you know, how we would 70 AD when Hamashiach put that prophecy out during his time, or whenever or any captivity where we be besieged, taken into captivity under another nation, forced into servitude, our cattle being killed, all of that, right? Of course, we see that written out in the prophets, but guess what though? It's also in the curses. Even when we were at our high point, when we were living in a lap of luxury. Well, I wouldn't say a lap of luxury, but when we were at peace during the time of Solomon, that we were keeping the commandments for the most part, and so we were awarded the what? The blessings. All those things are in the law, right? But yet these people just want to say that the law don't mean nothing. That no, even in the so-called New Testament, right? There you pretty much with anything that's written in the scriptures, you can 9 times out of 10 you can correlate them back to the law. 9 times out of 10 you can, right? And that's what we're about to get into now. Because Yahushua told us to what? To keep the law. To do what? Get back to the basics. Asking for the old past, follow the way of your fathers. And we're gonna show that, right? This is the book of Matthew, chapter 4 and verse 4. But he answered and said, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. Now, for the most part, we can always just go here for a quick cut. See, Christ said to keep the law. He said every word that proceeded out the mouth of God. But here's my question to you, chat. And we about to get real interactive on this last leg right here, right? Where was it written when you made this quote? What precept is Yahushua quoting? Oh, praise. There we go. Playing upon tables, got it. Deuteronomy chapter 8 and verse 3. Okay, he said Deuteronomy 6. I can see that. I can see that. But watch this. Deuteronomy chapter 8, and I'm gonna start at verse 1 for context. You know, they always like to say that we never, do anything in context. Well, here's some context for this precept. All the commandments which I command thee this day shall ye observe to do, that ye may live and multiply and go in and possess the land which Yahweh sware unto your fathers. And thou shalt remember all the way which Yahweh thy power led thee these 40 years in the wilderness to humble thee and to prove thee, to know what is in thine heart, whether thou wouldest keep his commandments or no. Verse 3, here's the point. And he humbled thee and suffered thee to hunger and fed thee with manna, which thou knowest not, neither did thy fathers know, that he might make thee known that man doth not live by bread only, but by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of Yahweh doth man live. So here we see Matthew 4:4. He's clearly quoting the law, Deuteronomy 8:3. Now, here's a deeper question. What is Deuteronomy 8:3 quoting? Yeah. We breaking down Matthew 4, right? Well, not all the way Matthew 4. I could do that breakdown at another time. Because I do got a not like a breakdown, but like a preceptual breakdown. I don't even know if preceptual is a word. I think I just made it up. Somebody Google that for me. But yeah, what is Deuteronomy 8:3 quoting? And shout out to SICARRI Boston in the chat, man. Okay. It's all good. It's all good, Malak. Y'all, what's up? That's why we here to learn, man. Let's see. Anybody else know? Anybody? Nah. All right. So let me show you. So Deuteronomy 8:3 is quoting something in general, and here's the clue. Deuteronomy 8:3, and he humbled thee and suffered thee to hunger and fed thee with manna, which thou knewest not, neither did thy fathers know. Where can we see this happening? Where can we see where the Most High was humbling us and suffered us to be hungry? That would be in Deuteronomy, the 16th chapter, where our people just love to do the one thing that they love to do in the world: complain. This is Deuteronomy chapter, not Deuteronomy, Exodus, Lord in Christ. The wilderness, yes, but I was asked for book chapter first. But it's okay though. That's why we here. We here to learn and be edified, right? It's okay to not know things. There's still a lot of things that I myself don't know. Like I said earlier, we got to come back to the basics, and this is the prime example of this. Because look at where we started. We started at Matthew 4:4. From this, we went to Deuteronomy 8. And just to go even deeper, now we're in Exodus. Gotta go back to the basics. This is Exodus chapter 16 and verse 6. And Moses and Aaron said unto all the children of Israel, at even then ye shall know that Yahweh hath brought you out from the land of Egypt. And in the morning, then ye shall see the glory of Yahweh, for that he heareth your murmurings against Yahweh. And what are we that ye murmur against us? Basically, Israel talking that hot mess. They complaining. Why did the Lord take us out of Egypt? He was just going to starve us to death. If the Lord brought us out of Egypt, did he just bring us out here to kill us with thirst and then? I should have stayed in Egypt where they was giving us food. And I guarantee, and there's people like this now. Man, I don't want America to be destroyed. They good to me here. Master does me good. He gives me food. He gives me jobs. He gives me sleeps. I'm okay here with Master. I don't want to go back to the old ways where I have to be a upstanding mans of the lords and whatnot. See, that's the issue with our people. Always talking hot mess because our people are lazy and want for nothing, man. Our people love oppression and hate liberation. It's sad, but it's true. But let's continue. Let's prove this. Let's prove that Deuteronomy 8:3 is talking about this. Verse 8. And Moses said, this shall be when Yahweh shall give you in the evening flesh to eat, and in the morning bread to the full. For what Yahweh heareth your murmurings, which ye murmur against him, and what are we? Your murmurings are not against us, but against Yahweh. Ooh, that's another precept. I can't think of the precept off the top of my head right now. I just see. I love doing these because in the middle, see, I just learned something. I just remember the precept. It's I can't remember it, but it's something to the effect of you know they they don't hate you, but they hate God, or something like that. I can't remember where it is, but but I guarantee that that would be a quotation of this right here, or at least a similitude of it going on. Verse 9. And Moses spake unto Aaron, say unto all the congregation of the children of Israel, come near before Yahweh, for he hath heard your murmurings. And it came to pass as Aaron spoke, the whole congregation of Salah, as Aaron spake unto the whole congregation of Israel, that they looked toward the wilderness, and behold, the glory of Yahweh appeared in the cloud. And Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, I have heard the murmurings of the children of Israel. Speak unto them, saying, at even ye shall eat flesh, and in the morning ye shall be filled with bread. And ye shall know that I am Yahweh your power. And it came to pass that at even the quails came up and covered the camp, and in the morning the dew lay about the host. And when the dew that lay was gone up, behold, upon the face of the wilderness, there lay a small round thing as small as the hoarfrost on the ground. And when the children of Israel saw it, they said one to another, this is manna, for they wist not what it was. And Moses said unto them, this is the bread which Yahweh hath given you to eat. For this is the thing which Yahweh hath commanded, gather of it every man according to his eating, an omer for every man, according to the number of your persons, take ye every man of them which are in his tents. You see that? Granted, that was a little lengthy, but that's the precept to it, man. All this still goes back to Matthew 4:4, and Matthew 4:4 goes all the way back to this. Remember the basics. Right? Let's get another example. That's right. They be haters of the Lord, man. Our people are like that. Let's get to I won't say a Christian's favorite thing. It's a semi-favorite thing, right? Romans 2:28. For he is not a Jew which is one outwardly, neither is that circumcision which is outward in the flesh. So just because are physically circumcised does not necessarily mean that you're a Jew, right? Is essentially what's going on. Now he's not saying that that heathens can be Jews. Now that's not what he's saying at all. And this is what's gonna show this, right? Verse 29. But he is a Jew which is one inwardly. What are we talking about here? Before we finish that, let's dig into it. We know what an op is. We know what an undercover op is. Just because you look the part don't mean that you actually are living the part, right? Just like what's it called? The Pharisees who are actually going against Yahushua. What did he say? What did he say about them? He said, all that they bid you do. Hear them and do. Listen to the Pharisees, what they're telling you to do in regards to the law, and do the law. But after their works, do not. Why? Because they were hypocrites. Those that were coming up against Yahushua were hypocrites. You see what I'm saying? So just because you look the part of a Jew and you say that you're a Jew, don't mean that you actually a Jew. You can look the part, but are you acting the part? For example, I'm a Jew. When I was in the world, technically I was a Jew, an unknowing Jew, right? But it wasn't until I came back home and started really living as a quote unquote Jew of the powerful tribe of Banyamyam. By the way, I gotta put that out there. Gotta make sure that that's that's concrete in the ground. I'm a Jew. of the tribe of Banyamyan. All right. But again, you gotta have it in you and live that part and not just look the part. What's the phrase? You gotta if you're gonna walk the walk, if you're gonna talk the talk, you gotta walk the walk. A lot of our people just talk the talk, but they're not walking the actual walk, right? Verse 29 again. But he is a Jew, which is one inwardly, and circumcision is that of the heart in the spirit and not in the letter, whose praise is not of men, but of God. Now, here's the question for you, chat. Outside, what is the circumcision of the heart? What does that mean? Right? Right. If I'm a Christian and I run up on you on the street and I say your heart's not circumcised, sir. You got it's all about the circumcision of the heart, right? What are you going to go to show me what circumcision of the heart is? To prove what an actual inward Jew is. That's a good precept. John 7:24 is not bad. Not bad at all. But I need to know what that circumcision of the heart is. Because that's what an inward Jew is. Weighing matters? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Remember, this whole lesson is about remembering the basics, getting back to the basics. And what are the basics? It's that milk. It's the law. So somebody show me what that circumcision of the heart is. Baba Kwasha. I know somebody in this chat know. I know somebody know. See, SICARI Boston, they playing. I know they know. They really giving y'all a chance right now. You know, they're letting the chat, get a chance to throw their answer out. I know that because I know that he know. I feel it in my bones that he know. Oh snap! Nobody know? It's all good. Again, that's why we're here. That's why we have these classes so we can learn. So let's read about what this circumcision of the heart is. Deuteronomy chapter 10, and we're going to start at verse 12. And now, Israel, what doth Yahweh thy power require of thee, but to fear Yahweh thy power, to walk in all his ways, and to love him, and to serve Yahweh thy power with all thy heart and with all thy soul, to keep the commandments of Yahweh and his statutes, which I command thee this day for thy good. Behold, the heaven and the heaven of heavens is Yahweh's thy power, the earth also with all that therein is. Only Yahweh had a delight in thy fathers to love them. Quick cut right there, Deuteronomy 10:15. Man, God love everybody. No, he only had a delight in our fathers and he loved them. So back up. You feel me? Quick cut. That's a lot. Let me read that again. Only Yahweh had a delight in thy fathers to love them, and he chose their seed after them, even you above all people, as it is this day. Circumcise therefore the foreskin of your heart, and be no more stiff-necked. And what did we just read in context? Circumcising the foreskin of your heart is keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. There we go. Yeah. Okay, yeah, there we go. Salaki, I'm over here reading. Yep. Silverback Banana Scripts got it. All praises. Rakeem got it. All praises. There you go. There you go. All praise to the Most High, man. That's right. It's keeping the commandments. So, what is a quote unquote a Jew inwardly, and circumcision is that of the heart? Is keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. It's you looking the part and living the part. And only Israel hath kept, the Most High's precepts. All right. So again, you got to be able to get back to the basics and understand that that's all our people really needed to do is keep these basics, man. keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, and having that faith. And we wouldn't be in the trouble that we in. But hey, we here. So it is what it is now. You know? Like I said, when it comes to, if you in a tight spot, no matter mentally, spiritually, physically, whatever it is, you know, go ahead, read that law, right? You can go to your favorite scriptures, that eases your mind and whatnot. But every once in a while, go ahead, open up that Torah, that Ta'ara. Open that up, man. Right? You gotta, re-nourish yourself with milk from time to time, right? And with that said, before we get to the last precept, I got a question for you, chat. Now, there you have some people out there who will say, the quote unquote sacrificial law is done away with, is what they would say. Now we know, well, now if I say that, I'm gonna give away the answer. But family, those in the chat, in the law, in the milk, right? Going back to the basics, can someone show me why we cannot sacrifice right now? Outside of the obvious answer, but in the law, prove that answer. Let's see who got it. I feel like this is a pretty good question right now. Nobody knows? Yeah. Man, that's cheating. I expect you to know that's a card, boss, and that's cheating. I should have said no one I should have said nobody in SICARRI answer. Oh, that's what I should have said. Whatever. It is what it is, but yes. It's not just the land. It's not just the land. Watch this. This is Leviticus chapter 17 and verse 1. And Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and his sons, and unto all the children of Israel, and saying to them, This is the thing which Yahweh hath commanded, saying, What man soever there be of the house of Israel that killeth an ox or lamb or goat in the camp, or that killeth it out of the camp, and bringeth it not unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, which in the wilderness we had a tabernacle, but then we dedicated the temple to do this act, right? To offer an offering unto Yahweh before the tabernacle of Yahweh, blood shall be imputed unto that man. He have shed blood, and that man shall be cut off from among his people. So wait a minute. We're literally commanded, I tell you, that if we do such a thing outside of the door, the tabernacle of the congregation, which became the temple, then we are to be cut off from among the people. Now, here's the kicker. We all know that as of right now, there is no standing temple for us to go to. So if someone ever tries to come up to you and say, well, do y'all make sacrifices? No. So you're not keeping the law. No, I'm keeping the law. Then how are you keeping the law of sacrifice? Because I was told and I read in the law in which I'm commanded that if I make a sacrifice outside of the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, or I don't bring it to the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, which is a temple, then I'm quite literally breaking the law. So if there's no standing temple, which means I can't bring a sacrifice to the temple, I'm bringing the law if I do a sacrifice. You see that? So by them thinking that we don't keep the full law because we're not sacrificing, we're actually keeping the law. You see? But that's what happens when you have a satanic religious sect called Christianity and all of its sects and whatnot, and they try to come up against us because we actually do what the Most High God tells us to do. They'll come up with all sorts of twisting doctrines and things like that. But again, when you go back to the basics and someone asks you something off like that, but you've been drinking your milk, remembering your basics, refreshing yourself, you're gonna come out with daggers like this. Like, no, what you talking about? This is what it says right here in the law, and this is exactly what I'm doing. Who are you? You feel me? But let's go ahead and get to the last precept of not precept, a couple precepts, right? Because there's a certain reward with going back to the basics, And again, there are those of us who are increased in different fields. You got those of us that are heavy in archaeology and history, linguistics, all types of different gifts, right? But even with those gifts, you still got to remember. You got to remember the basics. Got to make sure you keep up with them. Make sure that they're cemented in your la'ab, your mind, right? This is 2nd Ezra chapter 9 and verse 7. And everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith, because we are commanded to have faith, and those works are the law, whereby ye have believed, shall be preserved from the said perils and shall see my salvation. Ooh, not just that, in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. You want to make sure you doing these you doing these works and keeping that faith. You definitely want to make sure that you one of them, right? Because that's what's going to get you up out of here. You got to work out your own salvation with fear and trembling at the end of the day. But you still got to do what you're commanded to do. You got to bid them to the marriage, but make sure that yourself is right as well, right? Verse 9. Then shall they be in pitiful case, which now have abused my ways, and they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torments. Those are people who refuse to repent, come back home, listen to those brothers on the corner, listen to that family member trying to tell them something, that cousin, that friend, that co-worker, that teacher, whatever, whoever it is. Those that just want to cast it behind them. For such as in their life have received benefits and have not known me. Which they get benefits for being evil in this place. If you evil and wicked in America, you get rewarded. If you're just and keep the law, statutes, commandments, you an enemy of America. It is what it is. And they that have loathed my law, they that don't want no milk, man. Them that don't want to be nourished, them that don't want to be refreshed, them that don't want that light to shine upon them that want to dwell in darkness, and they that have loathed my law, why they had yet liberty, and when as yet place of repentance was open up to them, which is what we're in right now. This is one of my favorite scriptures to bring out on the streets because it's so true, especially verse 11, because this is literally the time of repentance right now. This is that grace period. This is that time for our people to repent, come out of their wicked ways, and come back to the righteousness that is the law, statutes, and commandments that we told the Most High that we would keep. When it comes time for us to keep up our end of the bargain, our people just want to renege and say no. But guess what? This is the time that they got liberty. Let me read that again. And they that have loathed my law, while they had yet liberty, and when as yet place of repentance was open unto them, understood not, but despised it. And I've seen a lot of our people despise it, right? Now, I would love to see, those of our people who, just wrote us off and whatnot come back and ask questions and genuinely be invested and come back home fully. That's always a beautiful moment, right? I'd rather see that any time of the day. I'd rather have a beautiful, edifying conversation than a loud argument any day, right? But there's going to be a lot of our people that despise this. And why? They hate milk. They hate the Most High and they hate milk, man. They lactose intolerant, right? They're spiritually lactose intolerant. That's what it is, man. And if they stay like that, verse 12, the same shall know it after death by pain. They gonna know. They gonna know at the end, man. They gonna be like, oh man, I should have listened to them brothers on the corner. I should have watched that YouTube channel. I shouldn't have threw away that flyer. I should have, I should have did this. I should have did that. That's when the regrets come in, man. But hey, all we can do on our side is the best and make sure that we are nourished with that spiritual milk, right? And then, Lord willing, the Most High puts the spirit upon us, and we level up in the spirit, get built up in the spirit, strong in the spirit. Then we can go ahead and go after that steak, and that ribeye, aka that strong meat. You feel me? Let's see what we got. Okay, kind. Quick on the SICARRI Boston, you ain't nothing nice. You said that man quick on. You said they quick on the Google. Come on, man. But yeah, family, that's all we got for today. So with that, I want to give Call Halal, Abanal Yahweh, Bahashem Hamashiach, Malak Yahweh Shai. Until next time, Shalom, family.